Big New England Football Clinic. And I'm now joined by UNH Cornerbacks coach and recruiting coordinator, Randall Jette. Coach Jette, good to see you, brother.
You too. Thanks for having me.
Of course, thank you for taking the time. First things first, just some thoughts on this clinic. 51 years, it's been around for a long time. It's always been a destination clinic for people, but I mean, this is truly one of the best clinics in the country, in my opinion. I'm not saying it because I'm sitting here, but the caliber of speakers that you get and the education that coaches get, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, I agree. My first time here was last year. Really on accident. We were at work up in New Hampshire. A couple of guys were heading down. So I took a drive, it was a 3-hour drive for us. Hung around, not really sure what to expect. We paid the fee. I got to see Coach Harry Mack speak, and Coach O'Brien and all those guys. And all right, my goal, my dream was to speak at this. I was given that opportunity this year. So great coaches, great staff. I mean, this year, I don't know how they're going to top this year, but awesome.
Yeah, no, and you bring up a great point. I don't know how you top it, but Bill Belichick, of course, was here yesterday. Liam Cohen last night. Bill O'Brien spoke this morning. Obviously, you know, like you said, you've spoken. I mean, I've talked to John Poppy from Columbia, Jay Savetti from Tufts. Obviously, Bob Chesney was here. It's just a great group of coaches. And the thing that I love about this clinic the most, and I talked to Keith Kenyon earlier, is that this gets thrown around a lot, Randall. It gets overblown, the family element, but it really is. Like, it's so chill. I mean, if you're a high school coach, you can pick your brain. You can pick Bob Chesney's brain. You can talk to Liam Cohen. Like, that's not a thing. We don't live in a world where people have that kind of access all the time. So it's a unique opportunity there.
Yeah, and I think all the coaches know why you're here. I think it's a little different than the coaching convention where everybody has a resume, everybody's handing out cards.
It's a lot different.
I think when people come here, they're trying to learn and bring stuff back to the high school. We love it. Our staff, the staff's here, supporting us. Millions of people.
No, absolutely. Of course, you guys are coming off a solid season. You were able to make the FCS playoffs. In my opinion, and I've said this for years, Randall, I feel like when it comes to FCS football around here, UNH has been the standard in a lot of ways. The consistent success, whether it be in the CAA or making the playoffs. Good season. You got to the playoffs. You checked off some of your goals. What do you think you guys need to do now to take that next step, win the CAA, and go beyond that?
I started in January. We had a little bit of turnover, but I think Coach Sanders has a culture that he's created, and he has a vision, and all the guys signed up for it. But it starts in January. We have those guys that we had last year are gone. They're all gone. So this is a young team that we're excited about. Talented team. I think as talented for sure. Maybe even better. So they got to prove a lot. So every part of our off season is important, whether it be winter workouts, spring ball, and our summer access program. I mean, what we have to do, we have to get those young guys ready to play. They're absolutely ready to go. And we're excited about it.
You mentioned some of those guys that are gone. You look at the defense, obviously some big names there. Josiah Silver, Flex Ruiz, Ryan Toscano, Wandy Owens. You're graduating some key players, but the thing that you guys have done so well in recent years is you've built up the depth of the program. You've recruited guys that can come in, develop as freshmen and sophomores, and be ready to play. If not, at that point, certainly by the time they're juniors. Do you feel good? You just touched on it a little bit, but how confident are you about some of those guys? And if you could share, who are some guys that will be in the mix to replace some of those guys?
Absolutely. I mean, especially my room, I'm confident with our young corners and Sean Webb. We did have a transfer last year, so he's on the skinny. He's returning. I think he's coming to his own. This might be his first full year of true corner playing full time. So he'll do well. We got young linebackers too, like Isaiah Jones from Springfield Central. He was an under-recruited kid because he was just running off the edge of the defense every play. We put him in the box and he's silent. His first career snap was a kickoff for Villanova. His first snap, depleted the kid on the sideline. So I think it starts with recruiting well in New England, and the guys that we trust, coaches we trust, they give us guys that say, hey, he's not there yet, but he will be. And then we see that in these guys. So Isaiah Jones would be a perfect example.
As I mentioned earlier when I introduced you, you're the recruiting coordinator. obviously your bread and butter is New England and recruiting the local talent, and then you go from there. You guys have done a phenomenal job in the portal as well, adding talent in that way. But when you talk about New England recruiting, what is the approach for UNH football? I mean, is it really, we're an open book, we're going to recruit everybody, and if they fit our philosophy, what we want to do, we're going to bring it in?
Absolutely, and I think it's the relationship we have with high school coaches. I think we have the luxury of having a tradition. So whether that's Coach Mack to Coach Santos, those relationships are still there. Coaches recruit us as well as them. So they tell us when they have guys, we tell them what we're looking for, and we're still in the high schools and we care about them. But I just really think we're open book about how we operate. We don't offer everybody. We don't send out offers for Twitter. We're not in that business. Our offer means something. And I think we do a great job of recruiting walk-ons as well. We talked about Ryan Toscano. He was a walk-on for us that became a captain and 2-year starter. So we treat everybody equally. We recruit everybody equally. I think that's the luxury we have.
When you think of UNH football, people don't give the defense nearly enough credit. A lot of good defensive talent has come out of the school. But they think about offense. They think about Jerry Azuma. They think about Max Brosmer most recently. They think about that side of the ball. So, with that said, let's talk about that side of the ball here. Quarterback play has always been a strength in the program. I mean, Ricky Santos is a UNH legend. But offensively, you guys have been able to turn guys over and maintain that level of success. You've done it across the board, but on offense especially. What do you think is the secret sauce there in that regard? Why have you been able, particularly at the quarterback position, to go from one guy to the other?
Yeah, I think the system. I think our coaches adapt. We're not married to one idea concept. I think offensively, the way they scheme and the way they put together what they do is a lot different than what we do on defense. We can do a 4-2-5, and then we'll switch it up. But quarterback play, we don't have a great quarterback. So how do we do this? We have a full-style system for this guy, and now we'll get some.
It's crazy to see. I mean, when people think of UNH, you think of Chip Kelly and the spread. And he really is one of the godfathers, if you will, of the modern spread. But then a couple of years ago, to your point about being a pro-style offense, you guys embraced some of the modern West Coast offense, and you catered the system to Max and then Seth last year. You catered the system to the quarterback, and that's how you were able to maintain the success that you had.
Yeah, Seth did a great job for us. I mean, he was a guy that was at VMI that went D2, and Coach Belcher and the staff did a good job of identifying him and saying, like, this kid can fit our system and do it well, and he did. He slowly increased every single game, and I think he won the locker room too. So that's another thing with our transfer program. Like, it has to fit our culture. Just like the high school kids, the transfers even more, because if you're not going to buy into our system, we'll break our locker room.
No, absolutely. Going back to the defensive side of the ball, you got a new defensive coordinator, Scott James, a familiar name to New England college football fans. Scott was with Bob Chesney at Holy Cross for years. Tremendous coach. I think, to me, honestly, Randall, above all else, he's just a great human being. But talk about, Scott ascending to that role, and you mentioned you guys went 4-2-5. Talk about him ascending to that role and the defensive side of the ball. Not so much focusing on players, but what that means to the program.
Yeah, I mean, he's a New Hampshire guy. I mean, main guy, worked in New Hampshire. His resume speaks for itself. And then last year was with Gillick. I mean, their relationship bounced ideas off each other. We had 2 defensive coordinators last year that could work together.
It's terrific.
That could work together. Like Gillick being able to listen and take in some of Scott's ideas, that helped us. And so, really, the transition of I love Miss Gillick. He's why I'm here in New Hampshire, gave me my opportunity. I think it was a smooth transition because of what Scott James was already doing with defense and helping Gillick. So the players were excited. They were hurt, as anybody would be, because Gillick recruited every single person on that defense. But Coach James was already there, so it was kind of like an easy thing to say and do. I think everybody knew what was going to happen.
You guys, most schools start spring ball in the next week or so around here. You guys are going a little later this year. You're mostly in April. What was the thought process with that? I know that in the past you started earlier than most programs because of when spring break falls. What was the thought process behind the later spring ball?
Young team, just want to get them bigger, faster, stronger.
Makes sense.
Yeah, give us more time in the weight room, more time with them on the board in meetings. So we're using more time on the front end. It was really, weight room, classroom, board talk, and then after following spring break, we're going spring break March 16th. That week we'll come back, run it and everything, then we'll start spring ball. So we just need more time to get these guys bigger, faster, stronger. And we're going to play a lot of sophomores, a lot of freshmen that we're excited about. They need that. They need that time.
Get some thoughts on the upcoming season. Obviously, like you said, you're going to be young, but you also have enough experience coming back, and you're well coached. I'm not just saying it because you're sitting here. You're one of the best staffs in the CAA year in and year out. What would be some early 2025 expectations for this group?
Carry the torch. I think, we had injuries. Last year showing us injuries down on both sides of the ball, buying on special teams. I think it's always a so what now with mentality. There's no excuses. I mean, we were down all our running backs, and their corner played running back. So our big thing is FIO, figure it out. And these young guys, they'll figure it out, and there's no excuses. Whoever's on that field will be ready to play, and they're all excited, and they all can do it.
Final question here, just for our viewers. Any important key dates coming up, Randall, in terms of recruiting, camps, spring ball? Any dates that people out there want to know about when it comes to UNH football?
Yeah, so camp dates, the link's live and good to go. It's July 11th, 1 to 4 is our camp. And then July 30th, we're operating that July, we'll get away from the FBS operations. So July 30th, we'll go for 5 o'clock camp. So awesome. We're excited for those. And, as I said to these coaches, every coach will come up for spring practices. They are at 6 a.m. So feel free. If not, just come by our offices and talk ball. And we're open door policy. We love it. Hopefully, Coach Brown is supposed to come by sometime next week. Talk with us. So we're excited.
That's going to be an experience in itself. He is the legend. Randall, I want to say thank you for taking the time, my friend.
Thank you.
It's great to see you, and we can't wait to get up there and see you guys for spring ball. And of course, see you guys this fall as well.
Awesome. I appreciate you.
All right, that is Randall Jette, cornerbacks coach and recruiting coordinator